Let me tell you all a story. Everybody, gather round. Once there was this boy who was the coolest kid in town. Now, he knew he wasn't perfect, just like everybody else. But he always knew the importance of staying true to himself. See, all the other kids would hide behind their mask. So when they took attendance, he was the only one in class who could ever raise his hand when he heard his name. See, he never lost track of who he was or he tried to change. Even through the peer pressure, he was happy in his skin while everyone around him was obsessed with fitting in. He never let the words of others get in his way. And that is what made him into the man he is today. Now, unfortunately, that story is not true, because there's so many kids who go through life and go through from being, toddlers all the way through to adults and even become to be grandparents who don't actually know who their authentic self is. And it's a problem. It's a problem. That's part of the problem that I'm trying to change. Now, my name's Alex, and you've probably picked up on my accent that I'm actually from this crazy land called Australia. It's an amazing place. We like to build big things, like the big banana, or the big guitar, or even the big poo. It's not a poo, it's a potato, but I mean, come on, it looks like that, right? Anyway, I'm from Australia, I'm a mindset coach, and I'm super excited to be here and help in any way I possibly can. Now, I am challenged, but I'm also excited. I'm challenged because the shortest amount of training that I've ever done is about 2.5 hours. But this is 18 minutes or so. So I've got to be pretty succinct with my message. So I'm going to do my absolute best. But I'm also excited because I get an opportunity to share some of my knowledge that may help 1 or 2, 3, 4, 10 of you, 15 of you. And I think it's incredibly important as the young people. You guys are the future, right? You guys are our world's future. Let me ask you this question. If everybody in the world had a really strong mindset, what do you think the world would be like? My passion is teaching young men how to be gentlemen, because some of them are going to become politicians, some of them are going to become police officers and lawyers. And if they were gentlemen in their roles, then this world is going to be in a much better place. So that's what I do every single day, and I love what I do. But I'm not here to talk to you about what I do. I'm here to talk about what you possibly need and the lessons that I wish I learned when I was your age, when I was a lot younger. See, in life, you're going to be going after things. You're going to be pursuing things. You're going to be going after what you want, right? Like the world is full of opportunity, and it's yours to take if you want it. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter, what your parents did. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter how much money you have or how little. It doesn't matter whether you've got lots of friends or no friends. It really doesn't matter, because your direction of your life is your life. Simple. You can't live my life, and I don't really want to live yours, because it's your job to live yours. See, when I was young, I had no concept of what mindset was. I didn't even know that word existed. So I'm going to teach you quickly what mindset actually is, and then we're going to flip on an aspect of mindset that I believe you absolutely need to be able to live a happy and healthy life. And let's face it, that's the ultimate goal, right? They say, what's the purpose of life? Well, I think it's to live, to love, and to laugh. That's mine. We're supposed to enjoy this life. We're supposed to share it with our friends and our family. And we're supposed to love. And that's what I hope to teach you. But right now, I want to give you a quick rundown on what mindset is. Now, mindset is just a pattern of thinking. It's a habit of thinking. It's how you normally approach certain situations, how you think about certain situations. And mindset is kind of like the car that drives us to our destination being what we want. So whether it's to make a lot of money, whether it's to have a really stable job, maybe just to have the best possible relationship you can with your significant other. Whatever your goal is, your mindset is the vehicle that gets you there. And let me say, if you don't actually do the upgrades on your vehicle, on your mindset, then you'll get the first little bit of distance. But if your goal's like way over here, Like your mindset, your car's not good enough to get up that mountain. You need to upgrade your mindset. Mindset, again, is the pattern in which we think. So we can either perceive and think that everything's out to stop us and hurt us, be really skeptical of the world, or we can be really optimistic and say everything is working towards me and for me. If you're a pessimist, you're probably like, this person doesn't like me, they're giving me this challenge. I'm facing this challenge because I'm not meant to have what I'm going after. But if you're an optimist and your mindset is geared towards challenge and progression and learning, then you're going to be like, I've been given this challenge because I'm strong enough to overcome it. It's going to teach me some sort of lesson. You've probably heard fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Mindset, the pattern of the way you think. Growth mindset being that you think things come into your life to make you grow and learn and strive and develop and just have this full and fulfilling life. But a fixed mindset says nothing can change. I cannot get out of poverty and, achieve millions of dollars. Well, it's been done before, so that's wrong thinking. Oh, but they were special. No. A lot of people who have gone from really, really poor and some of the worst circumstances in their life have been able to achieve such amazing things simply because of this one thing. And I didn't really know growing up, and I knew of the word, I knew what it meant, but I never felt what it feels like to do. And that one thing is persistence. Persistence towards your goal. Now I'm going to talk about clarity. So clarity basically is having a big vision that is so sharp and in focus, none of it's blurry, that you know exactly what you want. That's what clarity is. I'm going to go through that later. But I want to talk to you about persistence. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you a story about one of my mentors, because I think this highlights the status of persistence really, really well. Now, my mentor, I coach representative football. So in America, they call it soccer. In Australia, we kind of call it soccer or football. But essentially, the World Cup, that's the sport that I teach. But my mentor, his name's Jono, and he came from the UK over to Australia, and he wanted to get paid to coach football. That's what he wanted. That was his clarity. His clarity was like, I'm going to get paid good money to coach football. So very clear picture, right? He didn't really say how much money, and I'll get into that in a moment. But when he first rocked up, he rocked up to the association, to the big boss who's in charge of paying people. And he goes, I'd like to, have a job. I'd like to apply to be a paid coach. And this guy, this leader, I'll call him the leader, he basically said, nah, we've got too many, it's fine. We've got no spots for you. And he's like, no, please, I insist. Let me, please, just coach. Just let me show you what I can do. And he goes, okay, tomorrow I've got a group of 6-year-old kids that you're going to coach for 45 minutes. All right, I want you to do a session plan, bring it to me, and we'll just throw you in the deep end. We'll give you a go. And Johnny was like, yeah, great, awesome. So he went home, he did up his nice, good little lesson plan. He knew exactly what he was going to teach in the day. He come back to the oval, the kids are just doing their warm-up, and the leader called him over. He's like, come on over. And he's like, yeah, cool. He's like, have you got your session plan? And he goes, yep, here's my session plan. And the leader, he picks it up and goes, yep, yeah, okay, yep, cool. And just goes rip, and throws it over his shoulder. And Jono was like, oh my God, that was my session plan. Like everything I planned, all the hours I put into that, just ripped up and gone. And he was like super flustered by this stage. And the leader basically said, all right, off you go coach. And so 10 minutes into the football training session, the leader stopped the session and told Jono to go home because it was so atrocious. The session that he was putting on for the kids was so bad that he couldn't watch another second of it. So he basically said, you know what, you're not going to be a coach here. That's fine. You just go and never come back. And Jono went, that broke his heart. But he didn't leave. He sat on the sideline, pulled out his notebook, and was basically like, okay, just writing down everything that this guy did, everything, because this guy was so good. He was the leader of the country, basically, on football. And he was just writing down, took heaps and heaps and heaps of notes. And by the end of the session, the kids had gone home, and the leader walks back up to Jono. And he goes, oh, can I see your notes? You know, I want to actually see what you wrote down, what you got out of watching me do my session. And Jono goes, yeah, sure, here you go. Handed in the notes. And he goes, okay, yep. Rip, throws it over, and he goes, you don't learn coaching football from writing on a piece of paper. And because you don't understand that, Jono, never come back. I'm sorry, but you will never get paid as a coach. You will never be this. Now, Jono took that to heart, and he was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I can't get paid to coach in this country. But he didn't stop there. Jono, he went home, and he basically sat with that feeling of someone else saying he couldn't do something. And he didn't like that. So what he did, he was persistent. He was like, I will get paid to coach football, whether it's one way or another. So he came back for the next 3 weeks and watched every single session he could. He was there for hours on end, watching all the other coaches, watching what they did, watching how they interacted with their kids, watching how they coached. And there's one time he watched the leaders one again. This was about 3 weeks after he got his paper ripped up. And he sat on the sideline of this leader, and the leader basically said, no, go away, I don't want you here. I've seen you for the last 3 weeks and you've been stalking us. I don't want you here. You know, you're never going to be this good coach. And he goes, try me. So what did Jono do? Because he knew he was watching the leader's session, and the leader kept ripping up his books. Jono rocked up, he had his pen, and he'd shaved his arm. And his arm was bare, and he was like, I'm going to take notes on my arm. And so as the leader was doing the session, he was writing on his arm, taking notes, watching and learning and developing. And the leader come back over and was like, so what did you learn? And he goes, I learned that you like to rip up paper, so I wrote it on my arm because you cannot rip my arm off. And he goes, you want to try? And they had a bit of a banter, a bit of a joke. But then Jono said to him, he's like, can I have another crack? And the leader said, no. And he said, no, I don't think you heard me. He said, can I have another go at coaching these kids? He was persistent enough that he got another opportunity, second opportunity to coach these kids. And he absolutely blew the leader away about how much he'd learned in that 3 weeks. Jono became this leader's protege and then his successor. And now, Jono was one of my mentors. And my football has increased, my knowledge of football and of coaching has increased so much simply because he's been persistent in striving for his knowledge, because what he wanted to do is get paid to coach football. Now he gets paid to coach the coaches who coach football. And I guess what I'm saying here is now he's got his absolute dream job simply because he was persistent enough to go after what he wanted. This is the lesson that I really want to teach you guys. If you have any particular goal that you want, any big dream, big focus, if you're persistent enough, you will find a way. Jono found the way to be able to take notes that could not be destroyed. He shaved his arm and was writing the session plan on his arm simply because he wanted to remember what happened. If you are persistent enough, you will achieve the result you were going for. Let me say that again. If you're persistent enough, you will achieve the result you're going for. Now, whether that's you want to ask like the hottest chick in school, or whether it's, you want to earn $1 million selling shoes online, if you're persistent enough, you will achieve it. It's got to be ethical though. Like, if you're pursuing a relationship with somebody who doesn't want it, you're just a pest, all right? So you can't be doing that. My point is, if you're pursuing that love, that connection with somebody, if you're persistent in finding a way to develop yourself to attract the kind of person that you want, to be with, then you are totally going to be able to do that. But you need to be persistent in achieving your goal. The first step in this thing is you actually have to know where you're going as well. You need to have clarity. So if you've got a piece of paper here with you right now, I'd like you to do a little exercise with me. I want you to draw a straight line straight down the middle and then cut the page in half. Okay, and in the top left-hand corner, right, you are going to write your current situation. So where is your life at right now? What does your life look like? Do you have a job? Do you live at home? Do you live away? You know, are you in a relationship? Are you single? Write down all the things you can describe your life situation now, right now. Okay? And then once you've done that, I just want you to take these notes now because I want you to do this later. Write down what your current situation looks like. On the top right-hand corner, you are going to put 1 year from now. That's the title of it, 1 year from now. And what I want you to do is I want you to take yourself out of today, put you a year from now, and then look back at that year that's gone by and tell me what an ideal year would look like. What does your life look like now? What have you achieved? Like in a year's time, what have you achieved? It's simple as that. So you're going to write down everything that has happened. You're basically rehashing the history of the year that's gone. Because we've got this, like life has, pictured like the Tasmanian devil from the Looney Tunes cartoons. He's spinning around, there's this big dust cloud around. That's what life is like when we're sitting in it right today. We've got notifications and emails, we've got our Crackberry going off, our phones buzzing, you know, we've got our social friends, we've got our workmates, we've got so many things going on that we can't actually see what we're heading towards. So I want you to take yourself out of that dust cloud, move you a year in the forward and look back at that dust cloud and look at the path that you've done. In the bottom left-hand corner, what I want you to write is, why do you want what you want? That year, everything that you've ticked off in the year. Why do you want that? And then I want you to ask again, why is that important? Why is it important to achieve X? And then why is it important why is that important? And then why is that important? Basically keep asking yourself, why is it important that you achieve these goals that you want? And then in the bottom left-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner, I want you to write, what are the skills and capabilities that you don't currently possess that you need to learn? So for example, if you want to sell shoes online and try and make $1 million selling shoes online, you need to know how to learn, you need to find the capabilities and the skills of digital marketing, of sourcing products, of, I don't know, I don't sell shoes online, so I don't know, but they're the capabilities you need. You need to learn how to do these things, right? If you want to attract the love of your life, what you need to do is, the capabilities you need to do is learn how to speak to them. Learn how to have the confidence to be able to walk up to them in the park or at the mall, or if you're old enough, in a bar. Like if you see the love of your life, you need to develop the communication skills to speak with them. Okay, so what are the capabilities that you don't currently have that you need to develop? And then underneath all of that, this is the last thing I want you to do, I want you to write the first 3 steps. Like, what are the 3 actions you can take today to move towards that goal? What is the first step of being persistent? Now, what happens, Alex? You might be asking, Alex, what happens if I try something and it doesn't work? I try my 1, 2, 3 steps and it doesn't work. Well, guess what? Try again. And what if that doesn't work? Try again. And what if that doesn't work? Try again. I'm pretty sure it was Thomas Edison that said, oh no, it might have been, it was anyway, one of those inventors, one of those philosophers. He basically said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you try something and it doesn't work, don't try that one thing again, try something new. And this is what persistence is all about. If something doesn't work, you try another way. My mate Jono, Taking notes didn't work because they just got ripped up and thrown away. So he wrote on his arm, he found another way to do it. And that was what persistence is. Now, if you can develop persistence early on in your life, then everything else you want to try and achieve will definitely will definitely be able to be achieved, simply because you're persistent enough to find a way to do it. Guys, that's my message. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you feel my energy right now. I'm super pumped. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm super approachable. I know I'm on the other side of the world, and that is okay. My name's Alex Waters. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you later.